Hi everyone. On the show this week, the incredible Thomson Leng Tarot. Hi everyone, welcome back. On the show this week, a short video, just one of my flip-throughs and reviews of a tarot pack that interests me. And this week it's the really incredible Thomson Leng Tarot, also known as the Thomson Leng Tarot fortune cards. People say they're excited to make videos or stoked to make videos. Well, I really am excited to make a video about this one. I was looking forward to getting it for a long time. I got it from a website called Tarot Collectibles, and for a while it was only available in the USA, but then they changed their shipping arrangements and now you can get it in Europe. So here it is. The lovely Thomson Leng Tarot was originally made as a freebie for a women's magazine in the 1930s. I've briefly corresponded with Marcus Katz about this, and apparently the designer of the deck is unknown. So it's a bit shrouded in mystery. To me, it's unbelievably charming. It's sort of like the missing link, isn't it? Because it's between the Rider-Waite-Smith in 1909 and then the explosion of tarot in the 60s and 70s. And it has this very distinctive 1930s. Wow, that is a frightening chariot. Those sphinxes do look like the cover of Diamond Dogs. It has a very distinctive 1930s sort of adventure comic look to it, which I think is unbelievably charming. This is mostly very similar to Rider-Waite-Smith, but occasionally, look at this Lover's card, you do get a reference to the older Marseille designs. And on this Lover's card, as you probably know, this is a very traditional Lovers tarot card. And here we have Cupid and the man who has to choose between the two ladies. And there's one tradition in which he's choosing between virtue and, I don't know, sensuality. Or in another, he's choosing between his mother and his wife. But in either way, he has to make a decision which will be a test of maturity. So you could say, I think this one is virtue and sensuality. So you could say he's choosing between his heart and his dick. I love these iconic sort of archetypal figures. It's not pretty, is it? A fantastic Wheel of Fortune. As I said, I'm going to be reviewing and flipping through decks that I recommend. But in this case, even though I totally recommend this deck, I adore it, it's really a collectible. It's a deck that you just have and take out and love. I'm not convinced it's a deck you actually use for reading, and I'll tell you why as we go along. Look at this fantastic Devil card. You normally get the two, the Devil's slaves are normally naked, but this, because it was for a women's magazine, it was given away free. There could be no danger of causing offence. So there are no nudes in this tarot. Everyone's clothed. And I love the way these devil's servants are clothed. Sort of robes for a satanic ritual. Love it. Tower always gets the artist's juices flowing. A very elegant star. As I've said elsewhere, the star really should be nude, but of course not in this pack. A gorgeous moon. And a sun that actually does refer back to an earlier tradition of tarot. This refers, I think, more back to Marseille decks, where you have the two children rather than the one child on the horse. A very nice Judgment card. And there we have the Fool slipped in at number 21. People say, what on earth is that crocodile doing in this deck? But crocodile is actually an old tarot symbol. So what's really fascinating about this deck is that it shows some signs of scholarship, and it also shows some signs of sort of mismanagement, I would say, or confusion. And I will tell you why as we go on. Well, to give you a sneak preview, we now go on to the 4 suits, and 2 of them are absolutely Rider-Waite-Smith, the pence as they're called, and the cups. They are 100% following Pamela Colman Smith's designs. As we get onto swords, there's a wobble. And then when we get onto batons, the deck, the whole deck sort of goes through some sort of time warp and follows a completely different tarot tradition, which is not Rider-Waite-Smith. And I've actually, I've done some research, and I have kind of found signs of where this tradition comes from. I'm not enough of a scholar to tell you the whole story. But the fact remains that that suit of batons does make this particular pack of cards very difficult to read with unless you are an absolute huge tarot expert. King of Pence. So all the symbols are here. You know, we've got the Taurian symbols for the King of Pentacles. Let's do cups. The other uncontroversial one, here we have, you know, the New Jerusalem nestling in the cup there. The lovely 2 of Cups. I love the costume design. I mean, it has something in common with Pamela Colman Smith in that it feels like there's a lot of reference to theatrical costume design. That it takes place in this rather theatrical medieval world. Though I think the difference is that this one now shows more of an influence of movies. I think you really feel you're in a 1920s or 1930s adventure movie. Look at this dress. Now, the fun starts as we go into swords. I'm being a bit naughty here. I mean, that's very Rider-Waite-Smith, isn't it? We've got the throne on the waters with the ship in the background. So yes, here we are in swords. Everything's fine. 2 of Swords, an absolutely gorgeous 2 of Swords. The 3 of Swords, the artist goes his or her own way, but that's fine, I would say. I can live with that. 4 of Swords, weirdly, the 4 of Swords looks like a more usual 5 of Batons. And considering the 4 of Swords classically is the card of rest and retirement and hospitalization, this card would actually challenge you if you were brought up on the Rider-Waite-Smith, if that was your system. A 5, fairly traditional. A nice interpretation of the 6, crossing over. A great sneaky 7. And I really love the primary colours. That you get blue, red and yellow. It's probably not codified Golden Dawn colours, but they do look fantastic. A 9 of Swords, a little bit different there. A bit more of restriction and less of the mental torment. But yeah, still we're in the same world. A 10 of Swords, a bit wacky there. We have a large bat. I guess someone has been watching Dracula movies, but I can relate to that very easily. It would be horrible to encounter such a large bat. It really would be the low point, wouldn't it? A rather surrealistic Page of Swords. I call that knight a bit strange. I'm not quite sure why the Knight of Swords is swimming. Swords is normally considered the suit connected with the element of air rather than water. But I find that really fun. The scary Queen of Swords. I actually think that this designer might have been associating swords with water because there's a pond behind the Queen. I think there's kind of like a river behind the King as well. Okay, and now the fun really gets out of control because we're now in a different tradition. I went online and I found a tarot called the Gran Tarot Esoterica, and that's a reprint of an old deck from some old century. And I have to say that so these images here, which have nothing to do with the Rider-Waite-Smith, they're not just made up. They are exactly the same as the images on the Gran Tarot Esoterica. So whoever designed this deck was sitting there in a library, designing it in quite a scholarly and serious way. The question is, why is 80% of the deck based on one system and 20% of the deck based on another system? Seven of Rods. I see seven rods, but I see no connection with the old system I've been working with all my life. Eight of Rods. Very nice. They're lovely. I mean, in a sense, one would like to kind of force oneself to work with them because they are so sensational, but I'm not quite sure if it's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is forever going to be a gorgeous deck that I take out and look at. I can't see myself working with it. There's the Queen of Rods with the lovely arrow. And the King. I would like to say that's with a lion, but I think it's with a Labrador of some sort. So yes, that was the amazing Thomson Leng Tarot. It's available from tarotcollectibles.com. They will ship to Europe. I think it's fairly reasonably priced. The only thing is that you have to decide whether or not you want it with a box. And if you do want it with a box, you have to spend an extra $10. And that would be fine if the box was nice. But I think the box it's not very period, is it? It's very contemporary in a sort of digital way. I would like to see this deck housed in a lovely old fake 1930s box, but then I am very hard to please. So next week I'll be back with a longer video. Stay well till then and have a lovely week. Bye.